Good evening. Welcome. We're trying to get this live technology to work correctly. I am here to tell my story about how CBD has worked for me. My wife was telling this story, and I'll try to recreate that telling of it as best I can. In June of this last year on Father's Day, I was involved in a head-on collision. Wasn't wearing my seatbelt, and it changed our family's life at that time, well, forever. It's getting better now because of CBD, but as you see a picture up on the screen now, that's my car. I was coming up over a hill and got hit head on, and my head hit the frame. As you can see, the doors open, the seats kind of coming out. So it fractured my femur, and that is where the pain was. There's a picture that she had of me in the hospital. I was in a coma for several days and didn't eat for weeks. So there was a lot of injuries that went on there. So thank the Lord I was saved and had a great family, and of course my wife was taking care of me. And there's a picture of my femur that was shattered, and the pain that is in that was unbearable. So I was on oxycodone and NSAIDs, and that took care of my pain, but it also did make me a little unbearable. And so Stacy started looking for something natural, something I could get off of these pain medications. And she found CBD and found different companies of CBD, and we started taking a couple of different CBDs, and I noticed some pain reduction. And it wasn't until we started on HempWorx that I noticed a true complete pain reduction. The pain was completely gone. In fact, I didn't realize, I was telling her, I didn't realize that it was even working as well as it was until we ran out. And we've done that a couple of times now, and every time she keeps offering it to somebody else, I keep looking at her like she's going to run us out of oil again. But the reason is because it does, that pain comes back completely. They might not be able to hear us.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, can you hear us on this? Because we were having some technical difficulties, so I'm trying to make sure that we can hear. So can anybody give me some
she just was calling in.
Thumbs up on this if you can hear everything okay? If you're still having problems, I don't know what is going on. So hopefully
you can hear us. I'll continue on just in case you can. So anyway, I started taking HempWorx and noticed that it reduced my pain, then took the 750, and that's when the pain was completely reduced to nothing. We ran out again, which then reminded me of that the pain was still there and I wasn't healed. And so we started lower, and just to find out, to make sure my therapeutic dose was right. And we found is it took quite a bit of CBD compared to the average person to control it. And now I know where my therapeutic dose is. I'm going to stay there, and I know it's more than a bottle in a month. But that fracture you saw in that picture,
go back to it so you guys can see
that fracture. When the pain is there, it's hard to describe the bone pain, but it's incredibly deep pain, and I noticed it started coming back about the second day. I ran out, and by the third day, I was feeling well, like I was old and couldn't walk on it. So I started limping, and I've just noticed that it got worse the days I was off. So I started back on, and it took probably 3 days before I started noticing the pain backing off again. And it took a full week to become pain-free again. And I've noticed some days where I had a little bit more pain. So I've increased my drops to make sure that I don't have that. So some days I may be doing more than I need to be, but just to play it safe, I take it. Now, I have read studies and being in the pharmaceutical world that they show that cells can become tolerant. And so you start to become, so it starts not to work as well, and you have to increase with other medications. That's how it is. I don't think that's the case with CBD. However, it does not hurt to stop for a day, to reset your cells and to do that. So I've noticed that I do feel great again and strong. I was telling Stacy yesterday, in fact, I was in the doctor's office today, and the doctor asked me how I was doing, how I was feeling, and I showed him, that the rod in my leg was, my shattered leg. I was able to do squats, one-legged squats with no pain. And so for an orthopedic surgeon who's also a friend and saw the pictures, and I've seen all these pictures and was there, it's very impressive to have that without any pain medications besides CBD. And I've had questions about THC with CBD, and there's great studies with both of those. But in fact, I have another company that I'm near and dear to that has CBD as well, and they have good CBD. I think HempWorx is better. One, because first of all, the taste is better than anything I've had. The peppermint is much more manageable than the other stuff that tastes like you're eating a weed. But I've also been able to maintain pain relief. And for those of you out there that understand pain, for me to be able to say there's zero pain, that's something after seeing those pictures. And if you've had pain, you understand what I'm talking about. To be able to get rid of it, it's unbelievable. So there's a lot of benefits out there besides that. I mean, it also helps with my mood, other joints. I mean, we don't have all the x-rays, but I had multiple breaks in my body, hand and ribs and back. And so there's other pains that I would typically have that I don't have. And I feel strong. In fact, I was out running after horses that got out today, running across the field. And I was thinking to myself, because there's nobody out there except me and the horses, and we're thinking, this is great. I couldn't do this before. And who would have guessed that 6, 7, 8 months after that type of surgery, I would be running. And it was because the CBD gives you an overall sense of well-being beyond the pain relief. So that's really my story. I'm back at it because of the CBD, and I'm really encouraged by everything that I'm hearing from other people around us, reports of pain relief, sleeping better, and chronic disease states. So, and for some people that are bald, you might even grow hair. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, in hearing his story, and the story is very personal. I mean, it really is. When we think about, myself, who was taking care of him, brought him home in a hospital bed. He couldn't walk. His leg had to be stable. I mean, everything was, it was just intensified by a million, it seems like. And, but what I didn't realize was when I brought him home was that he was a new person. He wasn't the person that I knew, and he just had a different aura about him. And I wasn't used to being around somebody that was on pain medication. And so I started to see this very evil and very stern attitude, demeaning attitude. And it was very difficult. And so, the Rick and I, us together, the person I met so many years ago was not that person. And, until you go through it, you don't realize how much your life is truly changed. And it was all the way till even like into December of just this last December. that he was still, because he wasn't on the CBD, he was still on his antidepressants and tramadol for pain. He just still had his hills and valleys. He just, some days were good, some days were bad. And he just didn't have a really sense of well-being, and he didn't want to be around people. And so the kids, even the kids, and I want to show you a picture. I brought, our family. That's our family there, and we have 6 kids. And so to feel like they didn't have their dad anymore, they didn't even want to be around him, because he just seemed like he was just very irritable on them and wanting to discipline all the time. And so that was just very hard as a mom, seeing this going on with the family. And so when we got on CBD and all of this started changing, I couldn't believe it. I really, really could not believe it. And of course I tried it myself, and I started to feel more relaxed, because I had been months of anxiety, lots and lots and lots of pressure on my chest, feeling like I have so much work to do. I mean, I was running. And so I was just always used to feeling this pressure on my chest. So after taking the CBD, I could just feel that totally lifted. Like, it just made me feel like I'm totally relaxed. And even if I wanted to freak out, I couldn't freak out. And so I knew then it was, my back felt better, my well-being felt better. And then lo and behold, we took a vacation to Michigan, and literally forced my husband to look at this. And I said, we have to try this HempWorx product. Look at this business, look at this. And so he did finally take a look at it, and we listened to everything, studied everything for like 13 hours in the car all the way to Michigan. And so, really, it has totally changed our lives.
So the question is how did we use it? Was it oily or a rub-on cream? There is a rub-on cream as well.
Yes.
And that I just used the other day on a shoulder. My shoulder was hurting, and it worked, took the pain completely away. Mm-hmm. But I'm taking it orally. And we take it both.
We take both orally.
Oil, sublingual drops.
Yeah, and you have the 500, and then they have the 750 milligrams. Oops, sorry.
So the one bottle, the 500 is 10 milligrams of CBD per serving, and the 750 is 15 milligrams of CBD per serving. And
we do have a dosing chart on the Facebook page. So if you are getting on the oil, looking into it, just go to HempWorx with Stacy, and you'll find that dosing guide, or just shoot me an email, private message me, and I'll get you that information. So just overall, just want to make sure that you guys know we're not trying to, diagnose or give dosages or diagnose this with CBD. But what we really want to do is just share with you the testimonies that have really enriched our lives. And this is something that I'm very, very, very passionate about, just because I think about so many families out there that have gone through maybe it's the same tragedy, or they're just dealing with pain in general. And to me, life can't get better until we get rid of the pain. And if we're living on those drugs, it's destroying families, it's destroying our lives. And I can't even imagine if my husband was still on those pills and doing what we were doing, even 3 months ago. It just was not healthy for us. And so now that we are on this, it really just has changed so much for us. And I just want to be able to share this with you guys and be able to hear your testimonies, and you guys be able to share your testimonies with the world. And that's what I'm really trying to learn with this platform, so that I can bring other people. Every Tuesday, I want to be able to share a different testimony with somebody and bring you that information. So just know that go with the testimonies, share that information, and definitely work with your medical provider if you are taking medication for certain ailments.
And if you're watching this video, deciding if you're going to start taking CBD or not, and it could be HempWorx, it may not be HempWorx. Make sure that, because we have had experience, because we ran out of getting different CBDs, that make sure it's full spectrum. And you want to use a CO2 extraction method. That way you don't have any toxins or anything else that's in it. HempWorx, though, as I've noticed, though, every time we go back to it, it's very pure. The way it makes me feel is I know it works every time. And the other ones that I've tried, I feel it, but it doesn't work as good. So look at this one. Make sure that, and I'm not saying this is the best CBD in the world. Other CBDs are good, but they need to be tested and lab tested and verified. Make sure they don't have all extra fillers in it. Make sure it's full spectrum. That way it affects you because of all the CBD receptors in your body, that the whole plant is realized there, so it affects you correctly. But if you're taking a look at this, get back with the person that showed you this video or has been talking to you about HempWorx and get started with it. It'll work for you.
And so here is some websites. If I had brought you to this or you're interested in the product, please visit our website here that's going across the screen. But definitely, if you are interested in the business opportunity, it's huge, guys. I never expected my little couple hours a day to turn into an amazing should I say part-time but full-time job, because I'm working part-time, but it's feeling like full-time reward. So definitely, if you're interested in the business, take a look at our business website, get pre-enrolled, and we will definitely explain that to you once you visit that business website. So I look forward to working with you guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to message us anytime. I am working this daily. So have a great evening, and thanks again for watching.